What is up, guys? I require a spilt milk here, and today I'm going to go through my predictions for who I think is going to be in Formula One in 2024. So, give a bit of context. Today is the 15th of February. We don't know much about who's going to be on the grid in 2024, but we have had we've only had a few cars released so far. Yesterday on Valentine's Day. Forget Valentine's Day because the Ferrari was released, it was unveiled, and was going to shake down at Maranello, so that was really exciting. I think Ferrari are going to do well in 2023, but forget 2023. We're already on 2024. So today I'm going to go through start with the team I'm most confident with, and then go through all the teams to the one I'm least confident with in regards to the lineup. Because at the moment, as I said, we don't know who's going to be at each team in 2024. So here we go. So first up, as I always say, it's going to be Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso at Aston Martin Mercedes. This is the team I am most confident will keep its current lineup, is Aston Martin. As I say in every video of this kind, Lance Stroll should be the first one on everyone's list. As long as Daddy's paying the bills, he'll be there until he's had enough, or unless Canada does a rush or do something completely stupid and basically, get push themselves out of the sport. But with Alonso as a teammate and with the long-term project of Aston Martin, would Stroll be loaned out with a huge stipend to another team? Lance Stroll, who is Lance's father, wants a championship-winning team. Yes, Lance is getting better and better each season, but I don't think he's a driver that would handle the pressure of being a championship contender, and he still makes silly mistakes or not use his mirror, like with Latifi in Australia and with Alonso himself in America last season. Alonso, on the other hand, has signed a multi-year contract, so that means at least 2 seasons, so it's a very good indication that he'll be at Aston Martin next season. As we know, contracts, Sergio Perez, for example, Racing Point. It's just a good indication, if at most, as to what who will be at a team. Also with Ricciardo at McLaren. Ricciardo the contract, but contracts that drivers can be bought out of contracts, or things can change, or another team could come in for the driver, offering a better deal, and so on and so forth. I can't see Alonso going anywhere else, or any other team wanting Alonso, so I think Alonso will be best served to stay wherever he is, and Lawrence Stroll, and hopes that Lawrence Stroll lives up to his promise. Aston have current F2 champion Felipe Drugovich in reserve, and it is a shame that you've got the current F2 champion, that you can be the F2 champion and still can't get a full-time seat on the grid. You have other drivers like Logan Sargent and Yuki Tsunoda who didn't win the F2 championship, but who are on the grid. My pro tip, get on the driver academy. Oscar Piastri is another driver who won the F2 and should have been on the grid in 2022. I'm glad he finally did force his way onto the grid for 2023, and who knows, beyond. We have to continue to watch the video to see if I think he'll be on the grid in 2024. So I'm glad it's forced away onto the grid, as I said before. Finally, as I know, as I've gone off on a tangent here, well done to Nick De Vries, finally making it onto the grid after many years after winning F2. So I think in seasons to come, Drugovich will be on the grid. For now, just do all you can to learn off Fernando Alonso, maybe Stroll. I'd say more Alonso rather than Stroll. Get as much mileage as you can for the team, for yourself, and experience as much as you can, and you'll be in prime position if Alonso has enough, or if another back market team needs a stopgap for a season or two. So I'm most confident about Stroll and Alonso at Aston Martin Mercedes next season. The second team I'm most confident with is Ferrari, and I think they'll stick with Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, and why wouldn't they? I can't see any real reason Ferrari would want to change their solid lineup for 2024, or for Leclerc or Sainz to be looking elsewhere. If new team principal Frederic Vasseur can get Ferrari's act together, I can see this team fighting for the honours in 2023. In addition, there is no one in the Ferrari Academy ready for a Ferrari seat. Mick Schumacher has been released. There is Arthur Leclerc and Oliver Bearman, who are both in F2, and I'm sure Ferrari would want to loan out one of these drivers to a the other F1 teams, should they do well this season, just to see, cut their teeth and see if they are ready for Formula One. However, Ferrari do not have a reliable partner anymore, with the Alfa Romeo Sauber team going to be Audi in 2026, and Haas's Gunther Steiner is very reluctant to take on rookies on. Although I do feel it's unfair, as in 2021 the car was set up to fail as Haas put all their eggs into their 2022 car regulations. So it might be a while until Ferrari have an heir like they did with Charles Leclerc, and I think they need to move a driver on to make room for the heir. Would Ferrari best interested if someone like Lando Norris becomes available? I think all the teams would be interested in a driver like Lando Norris, but Ferrari would have to buy one of their drivers out of their contract, and I think they have a good team at Harmony at the moment. So why put it on risk that, and why ruin that and have a good team that does a job already? Okay. So the third team I'm most confident with is Alpine Renault, who I think they're going to stick with Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. Ocon's contract runs until the end of 2024, and Gasly has signed a multi-year contract, meaning he's contracted until the end of 2024 at least as well. As we know, contracts mean nothing more than just a strong indication. If a driver like Sergio Perez or Lando Norris becomes available, Alpine would be very foolish to not even consider either of those two drivers. I've got nothing really to say more on Alpine. Both drivers are locked in until the end of 2023. I think that we have to wait until the end of 2023 to work out who is the better driver and who Alpine would be prepared to drop if an opportunity to sign a big name arose. There's also the Alpine Academy with Jack Doohan at the top of the list. He finished 6th in F2 in 2022, and I think another F2 season would be good for both Doohan and Alpine. Although it could prove just another headache if Doohan wins F2 this season and Alpine see another talent like Piastri slip out of their fingers. I just hope they get a solid contract in place this time with Doohan if he does do well. Both Ocon and Gasly are dependable drivers, are given a good car and I think they can deliver the goods. I think the trouble is that Gasly and Ocon are both very similar in ability, so we do need 2023 and maybe 2024 season to work out who is the better driver out of the two. In addition, I do not see a better opportunity elsewhere for either driver, so best are both to stay put. Gasly just broke away from the Red Bull family, and he would want to find his feet quickly at Alpine. Okay. So I've done 3 teams already. I've done a back marker, I've done a front runner, and I've done a midfield warrior team. So the fourth team I'm going to go with it will be Haas Ferrari. For them, I predict it's going to be Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg. I don't think Haas need to worry about either of their drivers being poached by another team. Both drivers will be fighting for the lower point finishes, as that's where the car is right now. And perhaps Haas has one of the oldest average driver age on the grid. Also, team principal Gunther Steiner only wants experienced drivers, so neither driver has to worry about rookies eyeing up their seat. I don't think other experienced drivers will come available going into 2024 that would be interested in joining Haas. Daniel Ricciardo being case in point, leading to perhaps the surprise of Hülkenberg getting the drive for 2023. Ricciardo would rather take a season or two out of the sport rather than be stuck at a team like Haas. Haas just accept that they are a lower midfield team, and then their lineup does reflect this. The MoneyGram sponsorship also means that Haas won't need to necessarily look at a pay driver as a source of income, so Steiner is free to pick the team he wants. As I said before, he wants an experienced team, and he's definitely got that now. So the team I'm fifth best confident with, and they're all the same so far. And again, it's going to be the same lineup as what it is currently. It's going to be Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. So at least half the grid will be the same as it was in 2023 for 2024. This is a key season for McLaren. After getting rid of Ricciardo with Ricardo, as both Ricardo and McLaren were just not getting the most out of each other. Now they have a solid, young and hungry driver lineup ready to challenge the top three teams with. Norris finishing best of the rest in the last few seasons and being the only non-Red Bull, Mercedes or Ferrari driver on the podium in 2022. Norris will be hoping McLaren will be providing a car that will challenge for the podium more often. Now, the elephant in the room is who will replace Hamilton at Mercedes. At the moment, looking at all the options, I think Norris will be top of Toto Wolff's list, and McLaren and Mercedes will both fight tooth and nail for his surfaces. Other contenders for the Mercedes seat are Esteban Ocon and Nick de Vries, both being former Mercedes Academy drivers. But I don't think either of those two would fit the bill. Although having a solid number two to Russell might be beneficial after the Rosberg-Hamilton partnership experience. Mick Schumacher, another one in the frame, but I think I will talk about replacements for Hamilton for the Mercedes part. Unless Piastri completely bombs, I think Piastri will get a few seasons at McLaren. I think Piastri will be fine. Ricciardo has set an easy bar for Piastri to be in 2023. Of course, McLaren have put a lot of investment in him, not just in Piastri, but also for getting rid of Ricciardo. So I think they're going to give Piastri the benefit of the doubt, really. If he doesn't do well, they will definitely give him a few seasons, and hope he does come good if he doesn't impress in the first season. The only way I see Norris or Piastri leaving in the next few seasons is if McLaren don't make it the top team, and either Ferrari or Mercedes come knocking for one of their drivers. So I've done 5 teams. The 6th team, will we get a replacement here? Will we go differently? For my 6th team, the 6th most team I'm confident with their lineup, I'm going to go with Mercedes, and I'm going to go stick with Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. I think Lewis Hamilton will stay another season or two. I don't think either Mercedes or Lewis Hamilton will want to part ways just yet. I think it's going to be in the near future, but not now. Let's cover Russell briefly and get him out of the way. He is deserving of that Mercedes seat after a brilliant 2022. And I think he'll go from strength to strength from here. He's worked hard to get here, and I don't think leaving the team would be on George's mind at all. Or at least not for a few seasons anyway. Hamilton, on the other hand, it's more of asking when will he retire. I think Hamilton will stay for a few more seasons, as there's no pressure, and there's no one in the F1. There's no one that the F1 community is getting behind. There's no heir or anyone who's waiting in the wings who's waiting for Hamilton to retire that Hamilton's going to have to move over for, like they had with Russell and Bottas had to move over. As I said before, Ocon, Norris, Schumacher will all be in the mix, maybe even a Sergio Perez if things go sour at Red Bull. As such, there isn't a George Russell coming through the Mercedes that Mercedes needs to make a space for. I think Hamilton will be safe for a few more seasons, so as long as he wants the seat, he can have it. I think what will happen is Hamilton will just want to grab his title, secure his records, and just do what he can. I think that it's going to be futile. Verstappen started in the sport at a very young age, and I think it's another very long season, a very long career. And as long as Red Bull provides Verstappen with the car, I reckon he'll be even greater than Hamilton. But we'll see. So I've got 4 more teams to pick through: Red Bull, AlphaTauri, the Sauber team, who are currently going to be racing as Alfa Romeo this season, but will be Sauber in 2024, and Williams. So, who among the pot as my 7th most confident team? Bit of a drum roll. I'm going to go with Red Bull. We're going to see our first change. It's going to be Max Verstappen, and you've guessed it, Daniel Ricciardo. There was a clear reason why Daniel Ricciardo was signed by Red Bull as a possible replacement for Perez. There was no way Red Bull would just sign Ricciardo on a whim just because he's a nice guy. Before I go any further, I just want to say I think Sergio Perez is a fantastic driver and a brilliant team player, and any team would benefit from having Perez in their lineup, and that is very deserving of the Red Bull seat. But there are still a couple of things against Perez. In the middle of last season, for example, when Verstappen was dominating, where was Perez? Red Bull still have not found a driver to replace Ricciardo, who would at least be in the same sector as Max Verstappen, during a race. So who best to replace Ricciardo than Ricciardo himself? In addition, rifts in the team there have been rifts in the team harmony for Red Bull, particularly in Brazil, when Verstappen has nothing to lose. If you let Perez through, there's nothing to lose to help Perez secure second in the championship and then get a clean sweep for Red Bull. I think Perez and Verstappen will have a fallout in 2023, and Red Bull wanting to keep Verstappen happy, they will pop Ricciardo alongside. A few years have passed since Ricciardo and Verstappen have been teammates, and Ricciardo and Red Bull are the best option for each other. Ricciardo will surely understand he's now joining, he'll be the number 2, and he'll just be grateful to be back on the grid, like Perez was when he joined Red Bull. Before Verstappen joined Red Bull was Ricciardo's team, and that's why another reason why Ricciardo left. This is my team, and then Verstappen just took it by the neck and made it his team, and that's why he wasn't happy with that, and that's probably one of the reasons why he went to Renault, plus a bit of money. Now the roles are reversed. If anything, Ricciardo was signed as an insurance for Red Bull. They have a high caliber driver ready to drop in if Perez does anything to upset Verstappen. Okay, so 3 more teams to go. I've just done my 7th most confident team. My 8th team, who am I going to pick? Okay, so the 8th team I'm going to do is Sauber Ferrari. 2023 will be the last season they will races Alfa Romeo before Sauber will become Audi in 2026. Incoming principal Andreas Seidel essentially has 3 seasons from 2023 to prepare for Audi entering in 2026, and maybe would want to pick his team for 2024 onwards. It's a bit too late for him to re-pick the team for 2023, so I think next season Seidel will want to take the opportunity to pick his own team. So I will pick this team bearing this in mind, so a complete overhaul. Seidel coming from McLaren, he would certainly want Norris to follow him to Sauber, but I think Norris will be best to stay where he is. According to my prediction, Perez is available, and so is Alex Albon, Mick Schumacher, Antonio Giovinazzi, Nick De Vries, Philip Drugovich, and of course Théo Pourchaire, as well as the incumbents Valtteri Bottas and Guan Yu Zhou. I doubt anyone who's contracted to a midfield or a front-running team will be interested in taking a chance at Audi or Sauber. Hence why Sauber will be the 8th team I pick, because all the other teams I'm all confident with. With this all in mind, so Sauber Ferrari, I'm going to say, now bear with me with this one. Here we go. So I'm going to keep you in suspense just a tiny bit longer. Sauber Ferrari, I'm going to pick, and this might seem controversial, Nick De Vries and Théo Pourchaire. I know everyone wants the double Dutch at Red Bull. It may happen in the future, but not for now. I think De Vries will have an excellent season at AlphaTauri, and as there are no openings further up the grid, and essentially is only a stopgap at AlphaTauri just to get De Vries in, and for De Vries it's just a stopgap for him as well, just to get him in the F1 door. De Vries will want to find a more secure option fast. I think this is the best option for De Vries going to Sauber and to take a punt on the Audi project, and I think he'll take it with both hands. Let's not forget, De Vries is a Formula F2 and Formula E champion, and this time next year he will also have a full F1 season experience under his belt, hopefully, barring any unforeseen circumstances. I reckon De Vries can deliver the title for Audi if they produce the car, partnered with the 2022 F2 runner-up Théo Pourchaire, who will be 20 this time next year, with another season of F2 experience under his belt as well. You could even be the champion for Théo Pourchaire. Sauber Audi will have an exciting lineup. They'll have De Vries, who surely is ready off the bat to put the championship together if he's given the car, and also the young gun Pourchaire, who I think will be a solid understudy and a future Formula 1 champion. In addition, I can't see why Pourchaire why Porsche is going to wait another season. If he doesn't get a drive for 2024, he'll definitely be looking elsewhere. He will also obviously flirt with other F1 teams if he's not in the seat in 2024. For these reasons, this is why both the incumbents will be moved on. I think Bottas has had his day. He'll be 35 next year. He should have gone for the Renault drive in 2020 before it was snapped up by Alonso. Instead of waiting another season, having another season at Mercedes, the writing was on the wall. Russell was going to join. Bottas should have planned ahead a bit better. But now he's ended up at Alfa Romeo, and at the mercy of other drivers coming in. And with Zhou, I don't think he'll be anything more than mediocre at this stage of his career. His backing has certainly helped him get this far, but he may get another chance elsewhere. So I might be talking about Guan Yu Zhou further on, maybe not. Could be talking about Bottas again, but who knows? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. So we've got two teams left to go. We've got Williams and we've got AlphaTauri. Okay, so my 9th most confident team. Who should I go for? I'm going to go with AlphaTauri next. AlphaTauri with Red Bull powertrains. And for them, I'm going to pick Sergio Perez and Alex Albon. Another complete overhaul and change of team. I think AlphaTauri will be sold to either Honda or Ford in the upcoming seasons, and perhaps become the works team to either entity. So with this in mind, Perez and Albon will find their feet at AlphaTauri, or whatever the team will be called, as shall we say a parting gift for the new owner of AlphaTauri before they cut all ties with Red Bull. Perez will find refuge here as a solid lead driver of the team after being ejected from Red Bull. And Albon, even though he's enjoying life at Williams, is very happy there. He would want to step up from Williams and not end up being stuck there forever. I think Williams will be the back marker again for the next few more seasons, and Albon will certainly not want to end up stuck there. Tsunoda is improving. Yes, Tsunoda is improving all the time, but not fast enough for Formula 1, and I think De Vries will put Tsunoda to shame in 2023. Even if Honda do come in, even if Honda they get AlphaTauri, there are other upcoming Japanese talents like Ayumu Awasa. They can sign to please their Japanese fans. I've already covered where De Vries will be in 2024. Okay, so the last team, it's going to be Williams Mercedes. It's going to be Logan Sargent, and the last driver on the grid in 2024. Who shall we go for? So I've got Mick Schumacher, I've got Valtteri Bottas, I've got Guan Yu Zhou, Felipe Drugovich, and there's also like Jack Doohan. Perhaps Alpine might want to loan him out like they tried to do with Oscar Piastri. Who am I going to go for? Williams Mercedes, Logan Sargent, and Guan Yu Zhou. And here's why. I reckon Sargent will stay at Williams for another season, and Guan Yu Zhou will find refuge here after being ousted by Porsche at the Sauber team. I find it funny having an American and Chinese driver at Williams, both of these markets in particular that the FIA want to break into and give the local fans someone to cheer. Also, this works for the Williams owners, Dalton, as I'm sure they're keen to access these markets too. On what better way to penetrate to the people who live in these markets than have the local drivers for their market to rally around and help advertise their brands. It's the second season in a row where I predicted Zhou at Williams. Will it be third time lucky next season if he doesn't end up at Williams this season? Who knows? I see a lot of parallels in Zhou's career in regards to Perez. Both Perez and Zhou had back in getting them into the sport, and I think given time, I'm thinking Zhou will be at the top of the midfield later in his career, or even do this with Williams if Williams build the car to do this. So I think it's just going to be a stopgap for Zhou to keep him in the sport. Dalton get a local Chinese driver that for the Chinese fans, and associate Dalton's brands with China. Creating a bridge there, and there's billions of people living in China. So that's, of course, that's, you want that sort of market to advertise to. Okay, so that's who I think is going to be on the 2024 grid. So for Aston, let's run through them again. Aston Martin, most confident with. That'll be Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso. I've got Ferrari, got Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. At Alpine, Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. At Haas, Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hulkenberg. McLaren, I've got Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Mercedes, I've got Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Red Bull, Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo. So it took for my 7th team to pick that there's going to be a change of personnel. So the tops of those 6 teams remain unchanged. Sauber, I've got Nick De Vries and Théo Pourchaire. AlphaTauri, I've got Sergio Perez and Alex Albon. I don't think they'll be called AlphaTauri in 2024 to get bought out, but I'm just putting it down there for now, as it could be Honda or Ford, I reckon, or another entity who then they'll use Honda or Ford engines. And finally, for Williams, I've got Logan Sargent and Guan Yu Zhou. So unfortunately, that means I predict we will lose Valtteri Bottas and Yuki Tsunoda in 2024. But for me, Bottas has had his day in the sport, and Tsunoda is just not cut for this level. 14 seats will stay the same. 2 drivers will join the grid, 2 will leave, and 4 transfers. So tell me what you think in the comments. Do you agree with my predictions? Do you think differently? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and we'll look forward to the new season soon, and hopefully maybe later on this in 2023 I might look at this video and it might age well, it might not, and give me a chance to refine my predictions. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.